What's up YouTube, Gemini Johnny back again with another compilation of some of the wildest TikTok conspiracy theories I can find. Don't forget my new posting schedule is Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 4:15 p.m. PST, as well as a live stream on Sundays at the exact same time. Shout out to my newest partner, Ghost Stop. Check out the link in the description below for all your ghost hunting gear needs. Alright, all the business is out of the way. Without further ado, let's jump right in.
Are you guys like a money laundering front?
Who?
Just some people. I was wondering, are you guys? Is that true?
We sell mattresses, man. What's money laundering got to do with selling mattresses?
This poor guy.
I was just curious.
Well, you can't come in and ask me those kind of questions. You here to buy a bed? I'll sell you a bed, but
Okay.
you're asking me questions that are outside the scope of our business.
That's exactly what a guy working at a mattress store that's operating as a money laundering front would say.
There's a conspiracy theory about your husband. And I feel like I actually just need to bring up the picture that he might be William Shakespeare reincarnated.
Well,
because look.
It's kind of nuts, right?
I thought it was, it took seeing the photo for me to go, oh, I should take this seriously. I did a little digging.
What'd you learn?
So Anne Juliet is a play where what if Juliet didn't die with Romeo? And a lot of it is influenced by Shakespeare's wife. And her name is Anne Hathaway.
It's weird, right?
Hot.
We're not commenting on that.
It's like, we're back.
No, it wouldn't. It would be great if it was true, but even if it's not, still kind of great.
I love that your husband
I just love that he's cute. I don't want to go on about it, but yeah.
The last time we talked, the way you talked about him.
I'm blushing.
And you've been together, you just celebrated 11 years?
11 years married, 15 years together.
15 years together.
At the very edge of Long Island in Montauk, New York, sits a decommissioned military base called Camp Hero. Alleged to have been the site of the Montauk Project, it is said that the events that took place here inspired the show Stranger Things. The Montauk Project allegedly included experimentation with time and on psychic phenomena. If you're into creepy abandoned places and/or history, it's definitely worth checking out. So in my last video about Camp Hero, you guys asked me to make a part 2 and to talk more about the Montauk Project. To briefly recap, the alleged story of the Montauk Project inspired the show Stranger Things, and the show was actually sold under the working title of Montauk. The Montauk story was largely popularized by Preston Nichols, who claimed to have worked at Camp Hero while it was taking place. He said that there was a portal there in which time travel experiments were being performed, which ended up linking Montauk in 1983 to the Philadelphia experiment in 1943. The Philadelphia experiment is a whole nother video, but it was said to have taken place during World War II and involved the US military attempting to make the ship, the USS Eldridge, disappear on German radar. But it ended up causing the ship to disappear completely and essentially go into the real-life version of the Upside Down. Nichols also claimed that they utilized a device called the Montauk chair, and that when hooked up to it, psychics could either time travel themselves or cause objects from their imagination to appear. This is a wild story, and I'm in no way claiming that any of this actually happened, but I find it entertaining. So in my last video about the Montauk Project, the alleged military operation that Stranger Things was based on, we discussed the Philadelphia experiment and the Montauk chair, and now it's about to get even weirder. During World War II, Fort Hero was established at Montauk Point, which would come to be known as Camp Hero, the name we know today. It was disguised to appear like a fishing village, and overgrowth was used to conceal a network of underground bunkers connected by subterranean tunnels. In 1988, a video surfaced where 3 men, Preston Nichols, Al Bielek, and Duncan Cameron, discussed their involvement in secret government experiments in Camp Hero, including in weather control technology, mind control, time travel, and teleportation. It was claimed that the project came to a close on August 12, 1983, when Duncan Cameron, one of the primary psychics to operate the Montauk chair, caused a monstrous beast to materialize from his subconscious mind, and the only way it was stopped from its path of destruction was to cut power from the electromagnetic field that was generating it. The story of the Montauk Project is both fascinating and wild, and in the least, a very interesting tale of science fiction.
Dang! I might need to do my own video on the Montauk Project. That stuff is crazy. I want to go. I'll jump that fence. I don't care. That's the place where they made Captain America.
Let's open up that rabbit hole when it comes to Ashton Kutcher, Mia Kunis, and Danny Masterson, because there's a lot in this situation. So if you don't know Danny Masterson, he played lead alongside Mia Kunis and Ashton Kutcher on that hit show, that 70s show back in the day. And he has been in the headlines a lot lately because he was sentenced to 30 years to life in prison for the R word of women. Now, 30 years to life, they must have had some hard, concrete facts about this man. Because unfortunately, a lot of stories like this, they don't get the justice that they deserve. And I looked into the case more, and these attackings happened in that 2001-2003 time frame in his home. So I'm like, dang, that's like 20 years ago. Why are they just now getting their justice? And I found that he was able to avoid a lot of things due to his Scientology status. If you don't know, he does practice the religion of Scientology. I'm not tapping into them can of worms because that's a pretty dangerous can of worm to tap into. You know, do your own research, but that is a religion group that a lot of these celebrities are a part of. Even one of his co-stars that was on that 70s show, she was a part of Scientology with him. She played in Orange and New Black. Let's circle back to how we get on the topic of Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis. Now, you know, them two are married, but they're coming under fire because it revealed that they wrote some letters in favor of Danny to the judge. Basically saying how they've been working with him for so long, he's a good judge of character. So when people found out about this, they was pissed. And they were like, how could you support an R word? And they released this apology video, which is the same format, but this is the second rabbit hole that we're digging ourselves into. This is Danny's ex-girlfriend, Chrissy Blixter. She was also one of the ones that was accused of him, but I believe he was either found guilty or her allegations was thrown out because it was like y'all was together at the time. She took it to her IG and she put a lot of cryptic messages out. She said to Ashton, I know the secrets that your role models keep for you, the ones that will end you. Did you forget I was there? You were on speakerphone that night you called Danny on February 21st, 2001. I heard everything. I heard the plan. In my opinion, you're just as sick as your mentor. To Mila, I pray that you continue to process the stuff you experienced as a child on that 70s show. You must forgot I was there the whole first 5 years of that show. Following that statement, this compilation was posted onto the internet.
She also has an album out. She's going to be in a movie called Cheaper by the Dozen. And she's one of the girls that we're all waiting for to turn 18.
Whoa.
Along with the Olsen twins.
Pause.
Getting a job, and I didn't know. Yeah, and she was as hot as she was. You know, come on. That's 14. 14, she was even hotter. But I'm not allowed to say that. 14 when we started the show. I was like 19, right? Right. And they're like, okay, you guys are going to be making that scene. And I'm like thinking like, wait, this is like slightly illegal,
that's
right?
probably your first kiss ever, right?
It was my first kiss. Where's some bet you made with Danny about our first kiss?
No, it wasn't the first kiss. It was like the second or third kiss.
It was the first. It was like the first week.
No, it was not the first week.
Whatever. Let me tell you what happened.
No, let me tell you what happened.
No. Okay, so I've never kissed a guy. So I was so. I mean, you know, Ash was attractive, and I was a 14-year-old little girl, and I was extremely scared for my life.
Sure.
And no, he was very nice about it. He was like, oh, don't worry. So I was like, okay. Then Danny goes and goes, dude, I'll give you $10 if you French kiss her. When would you stick your tongue in my mouth or some?
But it gets crazier. I'm scared. So you peep, she said, I was there on February 21st, 2001. I heard everything. You may be like, what happened on February 21st, 2001? Let me introduce you to the second part of this rabbit hole. And that is Ashley Ellerin, something like that. But Ashley was a young girl in the Hollywood scene. And you know, she was hanging around Ashton and Danny in the early Hollywood years, especially when Ashton was on the come up, right? So Ashton took a liking to her. He was like, hey, but you want to go on a date with me? So she's like, sure. He's a handsome man. Why not? The night that he's going to pick her up for the date, you know, he's knocking on the door trying to open the doorknob, but nobody is answering. Turns out she was in the house and she was deceased. You know, they said she had got by an alleged serial killer named Michael, I believe, but she had 47 wounds to her. So Ashton then proceeded to call the police the next day and be like, hey, this is what happened. He tells police what happened. He was freaking out because his fingerprints was on the doorknob. And he did end up having to go to court and testify about that and say his side of the thing. He testified, gave all his evidence, and this guy right here was the one who went to jail. Because he was the serial, But yeah, that's how all of them in that 70s show crew is under fire right now, and the rabbit holes that you will uncover. It's probably more, but that's all I feel comfortable talking about because this is crazy. That's scary.
Well, let me talk about some more. Yeah, so those girls that accused Danny Masterson, they were also in Scientology. And how Scientology deals with things is you go to your lead Scientology people and you say, hey, this thing happened to me. And they want to handle it internally. You're not supposed to go externally. You're not supposed to go to the police. You're not supposed to go to the papers. You're not supposed to do any of that. You're supposed to go internally to handle these things. I looked into this. Trust me. I know a lot about this story because Scientology is one of my favorite things to take down. So these girls were, R-worded by Danny Masterson, and they went to their internal people. And their internal people's way of dealing with this was to have a sit-down meeting with the leads of the Scientology, like their section of Scientology, Danny Masterson, and the victims. And they all, to have a discussion about it. That was their way of handling that. They didn't not go press charges, not go get a kit done. No, sit down and face your abuser and let's have a discussion about this. And then they were not allowed to go to the police. And, we've talked about Scientology on this channel before. They're not the greatest bunch to work with. And basically, it was stifled for years and years and years. The only reason that we know about Danny Masterson doing that, and the only reason that he ever faced any repercussions is because those girls finally went to the media. because after 15 something years, the people in Scientology weren't doing anything about it. And they said, all right, well, I guess I'm going to the LA Times. I think it was the LA Times. I don't remember. I think it was an LA paper. And I remember reading that article. And that was and this was probably 5 or 6 years ago. And that was when I first, because I used to love that 70s show. I grew up watching that show. And I was a big fan of Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis, you know. Couldn't really give a shit about Danny Masterson. Never really cared for him anyway. He's the worst part of that show. But, you know, and now, you know, now that I know who he is, I hope he rots under the jail. But yeah. Scientology. Where's Shelley, David? You're gonna have to answer it in court soon enough anyway. You don't have to answer me. It's all good.
I got a rabbit hole for you to dive into.
All right.
And if you don't feel like diving into it, I do have a video that's posted. It's already uploaded where you can watch the full story. But back in 2005, 2006, maybe 2007, YouTube was not the same. People used to talk about the weird side of YouTube. All of YouTube was weird back then. There were no guidelines. People were posting the craziest stuff. There was a Russian guy who was fertilizing chicken eggs with his own swimmers.
Oh my God, I remember this.
He was trying to recreate life, and he was successful. People were able to watch 3 babies be made. They don't look like babies that we would expect them to look like. This guy was always really frantic, and he never showed his face, but we could recognize his hands. He was always posting in different rooms like he was on the run. People were saying that he was actually being looked for by Russian authorities for crimes against humanity. He was wanted by world authority figures for breaking, like, universal laws. Supposedly there is a world peace treaty, or like a world treaty that prevents people from interbreeding species. It's called homunculus. I have the full video, I already posted it, or you can just dive down this creepy ass rabbit hole by yourself.
Man, that, I can remember vividly what that was. I remember seeing that in the early days of YouTube. That, like the Pain Olympics, famous 2 Girls 1 Cup, which I've mentioned before, but did come out to be fake. Yeah, 2 Girls 1 Cup. I'm sorry to disappoint you all out there. 2 Girls 1 Cup was in fact faked. The early days of YouTube were like cable access meets dark web or something. It was wild, dude. There was like no regulations. People could post whatever they want. A lot of times that stuff would end up getting removed after a while, but it would usually be up for a long time before it would. Long enough for everybody to share it around the school. And I was at that perfect age for looking up the worst things you can on the internet, for the worst time of the internet to be able to look into those things. YouTube launched February 14, 2005. So I was 14 when this freaking thing dropped. So I was like at that exact right age. 14, 15 years old in the first couple of years of YouTube, where like we were just showing each other the worst things we could find. Ah, the good old days.
So you see her hands go above her face once. Watch when they come back down.
Whoa.
I wanted to post screenshots of the AI filter coming off so people could see for a bit longer just how insane this is.
Watch her face glitch.
Oh.
Now watch her back tattoo disappear.
Whoa, it's gone. I don't know, there might have been a shot of that. Her face changing is so creepy looking. Yeah, that part. Yeah, tattoos. Oh yeah, it's really not there now. Dang.
So you see her hands.
What the hell? That one. That is not Britney Spears, motherfucker. That is not Britney, bro. Who the hell is this? What is this? Did they replace Britney Spears with Jamie Lynn Spears? Bruh.
Was Britney Spears replaced by a series of clones? After researching this, I don't know what to think. All of the parts for this video are already up. A lot of people think the first time she was replaced was right before her mental breakdown in 2004. So I'm gonna take you back to the beginning. In 2004, she got caught hooking up with her backup dancer, Columbus Short. In order to keep things hush-hush, Britney's team cloned her and saved her for a rainy day in order to keep her out of trouble. When the rumors died down, they let the original Britney back into the real world, and she recorded her album Original Doll. On December 30th, 2004, she made a surprise appearance on the radio. During this, she independently released the demo for her song Mona Lisa. This was supposed to be a song that would appear on her 5th album, Original Doll, but for some strange reason, the album was never released. Part 2's already up.
I don't know. This whole situation makes me so sad. I'm so bummed out right now. That was so sad. I used to have Britney Spears posters on my wall, dude. I was a huge Britney Spears fan as a kid. I love Britney Spears. I had the biggest crush on her. I had Britney Spears posters on my walls. It was not a game. That poor freaking girl.
What's your favorite conspiracy theory?
Staves and walking sticks were not used for old men who couldn't walk. They were used to keep you grounded to the earth. Likewise, the whole term being a tree hugger was also used for us to not be connected to the planet. We live in a concrete world and we wear rubber shoes where we are not connected and grounded to the earth, and the powers that be don't want us to be grounded to the earth. But yeah, that was a ancient thing with the staves and walking sticks, a way, again, to keep yourself grounded, to allow the earth to heal you. Again, that is the conspiracy theory, you know. The next time you go on a walk, grab a stick and try to have it, you know, touch the ground. Or when you see a tree like that, you know, just hold it, you know, or, you know, give it a little hug. I mean, why do you think dogs are so healthy? They got their paws directly on the ground, connected. Yeah. But hey, that is just some crazy conspiracy. Again, you know, I'm sure it's all just false, you know. What do you think, Luna? Truth or conspiracy?
Yeah, I can definitely get behind that one. Could just be some hippy dippy stuff, but I love putting my feet in the grass. I always feel good. Love giving a tree a good hug. Makes me feel nice, warm and fuzzy inside. So it doesn't hurt anything. Grab a stick.
Why do you think T.D. Jakes was at Puff Daddy's birthday party?
I mean, you know, do you remember when Bernie Mac played the minister in Friday?
Yes.
That's how I feel about T.D. Jakes. Like, that's how I see. Oh, Miss Parker, come to pray. But for him to be at a Diddy party, I don't know. Like, I feel the same way about that as I feel about when Tyler Perry came to his church and laid hands on him and he caught the Holy Spirit from Tyler Perry. Tyler Perry is the bishop of what? Like, I've never, like, and I cut a check for $100, and I'm gonna lay my hands on you, bishop. And he said, and then the bishop said, it's on the fucking internet. He's doing all of this, right? And then there's a woman on the dais screaming, push the baby out. Birth that baby. I'm like, what? Are we a church? If Bishop Jakes was at a Diddy party, there could only be two reasons. Money or sex. That's all that happens at Diddy parties. Money and sex. I hope it was for money.
Charitable contribution.
I hope it was for money, because arguing about who's going to put the strap on is that can be a very uncomfortable situation. You know, we're going to pray on it. Praise the Lord. You know?
Amen.
TD Jakes got some splaining to do. Yeah, that's sketch. Hey, if there was 100 pictures of me at Diddy parties, y'all probably be wondering what the hell was up with me. But because he's a reverend, no, I don't know. Burn them all, dude. Fucking burn them all.
Saw this other video of this scientist who has come up with a way to start reversing the effects of climate change, of like cooling down the earth. It sounds like a kid would come up with this. Yeah. You send this multiple craft into space, right? And you basically make a giant shade sail in between the earth and the sun. And so like it literally is shading the earth to where it will cool down the planet. But this thing, it has to be like something 100 million miles wide or something.
Yeah.
Hey, maybe we shouldn't do that.
Yeah.
Because like, I don't know, you don't want to shade the entire earth for, like, it just seems like it's gonna.
It's not even the sunlight. It's like the UV rays or something. It's like the atmosphere, like the invisible layers just not there.
I don't know.
Like, I don't want sunglasses on all the time. I can promise.
Imagine that, just like in the morning, you just see like these shades like slowly turning, like somebody's like, but just they're in space and just like the lights peeking through. Like, can you turn off the blinds and just like you can crank it down?
We live in Florida. It's gonna be negative 37 degrees.
We're gonna all die, dude.
Yeah, let's not go into another ice age because of a freaking sunshade, please. Can we not do that? That'd be tight.
So what the fuck is this? This big ass hologram. And it's for entertainment purposes only.
Of course.
Getting very much Blue Beam vibes here.
It's weird.
Yeah. You know, this happened in Japan though.
Look at the little guy down there.
I need
I think it was huge.
Y'all third eye open.
The little guy down there. He's like down here.
I know that y'all are entertained by this big ass hologram at this Japan sporting event. Hooray! So now we know they have the technology. We know what the conspiracy theories are about this such technology. 1 + 1, it equals 2.
Unless you're Terrence Howard.
That's all I'm saying.
You're Terrence Howard, 1 + 1 is... Oh wait, that's 1 × 1 is 2. That was his thing. My bad. Sorry for the slander. NASA releases 1905 to 2024 map of all UFO sightings. Look closely and think. Uh-oh. That's a real interesting one. Got your UFO sightings map and your nuclear targets map. Dang, that's wild. And he's got this one. Missing persons map and the USA cave map look a bit too familiar. But then compare that to even the... They're not really checking out the targets of... What was that, Montana? Was it North Dakota? Oh, it's nuclear targets, not where nuclear things are. Idaho's the only safe place to live. Well, eastern half of the United States is going to be wiped off. Jesus Christ, that would suck. Hey, let's not do nuclear war. Can we not do a nuclear war? I would appreciate that.
Here's something crazy about cats you may have never heard of. The first thing is their pupils. They're slitted pupils. Do you know how rare that is in the animal kingdom? Lions do not have slitted pupils. They're round just like ours. Tigers don't have slitted pupils either, nor do jaguars. Now this is kind of a weird thing because I kind of thought that a domesticated house cat came from a big cat
That's what I thought.
down the line. But if they don't have slitted pupils like the house cat does, then what does have slitted pupils? Reptiles. Snakes and alligators have
That's weird.
slitted pupils. Not any other cat. Now, in many cultures, ancient reptiles were considered to be kind of a trippy creature that had other abilities and senses. The other thing that's weird is that cats hiss like a snake, and they have slitted pupils like a reptile. They also love to eat mice, as do snakes. Now, we know how much
Let's look at them sharp-ass teeth.
Egyptians loved cats. Cats also have pineal glands. And you notice that cats will do that thing where they'll look in the corner of the room and making a fuss about what seems to be nothing. It is believed that their eyes enable them to see outside of the visible light spectrum that me and you are bound by. Now, it's not known how a cat has half the attributes of a lion and half the attributes of a snake, but perhaps some genetic tinkering went on many, many years ago in ancient worlds and civilization.
Yeah, I believe that. I think that's that was the downfall of Atlantis, was they were trying to make hybrid animals. And whoever created us was like, nope, none of that, that's my job. There you have it, folks. That is another compilation of the wildest TikTok conspiracy theories I can find. Let me know in the comments which one of these theories was your favorite, or if you have an argument against any of them. Shout out once again to my new partner, Ghost Stop. Check them out for all your ghost hunting equipment needs. They are a new affiliate, so if you use one of my links in the description below, I will get a small commission from them. So, check them out if you're wanting to get into ghost hunting yourself. I do have a handful of other affiliate links, so check it out. If there's anything in there you might need to use, then, use my link and help support the channel a little bit. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate you. I love you. So until next time, seek the truth.